Hello, everyone. This is Francine. I'm here on My Two Cents. I welcome everybody to join me today. Today, we're going to talk about my last episode on Autumn is Here. My episode was about living arrangements for seniors. And we're just excited tonight to talk about that. We spoke to Tommaso Camarano, and he gave us some insight into the living facility that he teaches at, so that he runs. And it's very interesting. It's very interesting the way different programs are set up. So I'm hoping that some of you have looked at it. If you haven't, it's okay. You can still be on. You can still be here and listen to this. But if you haven't looked at it, please check it out. There are so many different ways for living situations. So we just want to cover all of them and give you all the information because it's a hard choice to make for your seniors. But right now I'm not here by myself. I'm here with Evelyn Wilson. She's here. She's in the background. Hi, from the
Hey,
founder of No Ceiling Network. Hi this evening. How are you?
hello. Hey, everybody.
How you doing? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. I am excited to talk about this because this is a subject that really stumped me when I was taking care of my mother, and it was something I was not really aware of. And like I said, when you learn things, and you learn things in the middle of a crisis, when you learn things when you have to make a decision, like the time is of essence and things like that, you don't get all the information,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have enough time to research. And the one thing about living arrangements for your parents or your loved ones or seniors, or if you have to make that choice, one of the things is that you should be able to take the time ahead of time because everywhere is different. Every facility is different. They have different things that they offer you, they have different prices. It may be something that suits your loved one, and it may not be. It may be a really nice place, but it doesn't suit your loved one, and you want them to be as comfortable and as safe as possible. So there's a lot to do with living arrangements. So that's why I want to talk about that today, because that was really something that kind of stumped me, and I had to kind of make a decision. I was introduced to it while I was going through, and
Mm-hmm.
ideally it's great. It's great to have that option, but I didn't know what I had to do to have that option. I wasn't prepared to have that option for that option.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I was.
love that.
Yeah,
It's
I
such
was
a
not
great
prepared.
topic tonight. I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited. I've been talking to a few people that, have had to care for their parents or either have siblings who have cared for their parents. So this is a fresh topic on my mind tonight. So I'm ready. But before we hop into it, we gotta say hello to the people. Hey everybody. You have
Hi.
a couple of people who have already hopped on. Somebody already loved the broadcast. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
the love. Make sure y'all like, love, hit the share button.
Yes.
Let
Yes.
us know that you're watching by leaving us a comment. Leave us a comment in the comment section, letting us know you're watching, where you're watching from. If you're watching live, give us a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, let us know you're watching the replay and talk back to us, okay? But before we hop into like the official uh my 2 cents tonight, I always put Francine on the spot, and she probably hate me for this, but listen, I would love for you to just share why you even started Autumn is Here podcast, and for the people, the reason we do this for our faithful listeners. We know y'all done heard the spiel, okay? But the reason we do this is because there are people who hop on who have not heard of Autumn is Here. So, Francine, tell us why you started, what, Autumn is Here is
Okay.
all about.
Well, I mean, I know some of you already know, but Autumn is Here is a podcast that I started after my mom had passed away. I realized that there was a lot of people who um, were asking me questions and things like that, and then it made me realize that there was other people in that situation and people who needed information. When my mom had Alzheimer's, I didn't know anything about the disease. I didn't know anything about care. I didn't know anything about even her growing old and needing me. I didn't even know that when she was ill, when she was going through this, that I was a caregiver. So, because I had not really heard that term except for like maybe professional. So I never even thought of myself as that. I was just going to take care of my mom. But there was so much that I learned on the journey. And unfortunately, there was so much that I learned after the fact, and I had not, I couldn't, you couldn't go back. You couldn't, do it again. You couldn't use the tools that you learned. But I'm hoping to share some tools for other people to learn and have it ahead of time and just start thinking. Sometimes we just don't have conversations about stuff, and we need to be able to talk about things so we can have it in the back of our mind, because maybe you don't need it now, but you might need it 2 years from now, 3 years from now, or your neighbor might need it. So that's what Autumn is Here is about. It's about giving people resources and connecting people and talking to doctors and people, caregivers, being a support for them and sharing their story, because everybody's situation is different. So I really believe that talking and having communication really, really can help. And it gives you more tools for you to be able to handle the situation better. So that's why I started Autumn is Here.
Love, love, love that. Okay, so we got some people saying hello. Hey, y'all.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Vanessa. Hey, Sharon. Thanks for hopping on. Hey, Lizette. Lizette is one of our faithful listeners. Hey, girl. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, just a little bit more about that, Francine, because I know I don't make you dig deeper a lot of the times, but I just had this question. I have a question. So, you started it because of the experience you had with your mom, but why a podcast? Why a podcast? Were you introduced to the idea of podcast from someone, or like why a podcast?
You know how you just do things, something, I was not familiar with podcasts. I always wanted to do radio. And I went to school for radio and television. And after I did a year of television, I was ready for my radio class. And they said, no, we don't have radio classes for master's degree program. And I was like, no, that's why I joined. that's what I wanted, because I always wanted to be behind the scenes. Always, always, always. And so I didn't get it. So years later, now this thing comes out with podcasts, and it's similar to radio. Now, I didn't really know much about it. And then I saw David Shands on Facebook, and he was like, you could do a podcast. So I was like, yeah, I think I could do it. That's radio, because that's like the new way of radio. That's what I thought.
Facts.
And he's really good at teaching it, and he's extremely versed on podcasts. But his thing was that, I'm thinking that it's just audio, so I'm fine with just talking. But he was like, no, you can't do that. You got to do it in front of people. You got to do it on video. People have to see you. That's the thing now. You have to see and hear. And I was like, no, that's not what I wanted to do. But I did it. I just challenged myself. I wanted to challenge myself to do something different, actually.
I love that.
And I did that. And I was like, okay, I was scared, and it was really hard in the beginning, but I'm glad that I'm here now. And practice, you got to keep practicing. I'm practicing it.
Yes, I love that. Hey, Stacy, how are you?
Hey, Stacy.
Listen, I love that, Francine. I love, love, love that. Radio is such a cool thing. And then for you to transition into podcasting, that was perfect. That was perfect. Love it. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for hopping on today. If you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments. Thanks for saying hey. And let us know where you're watching from. We need to know. We got people watching from all over the world. Where y'all watching from? Let us know. Okay?
Okay.
But let's continue to hop into the subject. So, we're talking about this particular subject because of your last guest, right?
Yes, my last guest, Tommaso Camarano. Okay. And he was talking about he works in Minnesota, but he works in a place where they have 3 different categories for living for seniors. You can have independent living, where you may feel safer and you want to live there. You may want to scale down. If you own something and you want to scale down, and you might want to live in a community, so you can be independent. There's nothing wrong with you. You're well, and you get an apartment, a place where it has some activities and things for you and people your age. I guess that's what people wanted to do, socialize. Then it's assisted living, where you might need some assistance. You could still, maybe you can get around, but you might need certain assistance, maybe on care or getting medicine or stuff like that, or different things. So if you start needing assistance, they have assistant living there. And they also have memory care. Now, memory care is when you you may be suffering with some kind of dementia, some kind of memory loss, and you need extra care. And that facility is a secure floor where you don't wander and people are watching you and things like that. So he works in a unique place in Minnesota, where it's in the heart of the city. So it's not like away in the country area or the rural area, whatever. It's in the heart of the city, and because it's in the heart of the city, it has access to all the arts of the city. and they deliberately made that program there because they wanted people, because some people who, retire or they get older and they need help, they don't want to just live someplace where it's just, it's calm and peaceful and trees and birds and whatever. They're used to the city and they want to live in the city, and they want to still partake in things like music and arts and museums and stuff like that. So that's why they made this place, so they can still take them out to these places and it's accessible to them, and have some people come in and give them services and arts and things that they're used to, which is very nice. It's unique. And that's why I say assisted living and places like the living conditions is different everywhere. So you have to find something that suits your loved one, and that they will still be happy living there and has a good quality of life. So yeah, so it was very interesting because it's just different, because they have 3 different types in there. And some places, if you are in a living facility where it's just independent living, when you become another stage, you have to go somewhere else, or you have to go to another area. They still live in their own apartments, they just service them differently.
Okay.
So that's good. That's
Okay.
different.
I love that. I love that. So before we continue to hop into it, Lizette says she's watching from Delaware in the house.
Okay.
And then we got Brooklyn in the house as well. I love that. Everybody else that's hopping on, let us know where you're watching from. Yeah, so I actually got to catch part of Tommaso's episode.
Okay.
And he was sharing I think you ended it just now about the quality of their living conditions and care and things like that. I thought it was really interesting when he was talking about, the humanity of our elders and different things like that. So could you share a little bit more about that topic? Because, it's something, I think it's something that happens that we don't talk about a lot. When people have a certain idea of what aging is and dementia and memory loss and all these things, and our loved ones kind of get tossed to the wayside, not treated with humanity. Just could you share a little bit more about that topic, because that really touched on with me.
Well, with we have a way of thinking of the elderly a little different than other places in other countries. It's not like this everywhere. Okay. But here, we tend to, you get a certain age and you kind of like, you're not on your own, but you're on your own. If you haven't saved, if we think that the city and the state is going to cover us, Medicare, Medicaid, and it's going to be, it's not, your choices are limited if that's what you're relying on. And sometimes, and it's unfair. It's unfair that you worked all your life, or you've been here all your life, you contributed to society, and now you have to struggle. You have to, make ends meet. You don't have the basic things, basic place to live, quality of life, basic food. Food goes up. They still have to eat. You're old, you still got to eat.
Yeah,
Medical care.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I remember hearing stories about, and I don't know if this is really true, but hearing stories about elderly people who are living alone and didn't necessarily have care, and they end up like having to, buy the worst of the worst food to just like get by.
Oh,
Like, is that still
absolutely.
a thing now?
Absolutely, because you're on a fixed income. And if you're on a fixed income, it's limited. Now, you're on a fixed income and you're 75, you might be 88 now. Food has gone up, things have gone up.
Yeah.
Rent has gone up. Different things that you need. Medical changes all the time. And insurance doesn't always cover everything. And they change, because if you're on like a Medicare program, sometimes they drop some of the things that you might need. You know what I mean? So what do you do then? You have to supplement. You have to pay for that. They might drop eyeglasses or a dental or whatever, and now you need it. So, things change, and your fixed income is still the same. So yes, there are people who cannot afford food or eat less, and because they got to stretch it. You have to stretch it. You have money that may come in once a month. So it's difficult.
I was gonna say, so these assisted living. Wait, okay. So did you share everything you wanted to share about that, like the
Yeah.
treating our elders with humanity and everything?
Well, I just one of part of Autumn is Here is to talk about aging and seniors and getting more involved with seniors and getting more involved with the people in your family and your neighbors and stuff like that,
Mhm.
because we forget that they're still in need. They still need you, and they're still there, and they still have. And that's one of the things that Tommaso said. Like, they're still there. They're still, have interests.
Mhm.
Don't discount them. Ask
Right.
them, what do they want? What do they like? And also with dementia, it may not be the same way that you're used to seeing them and the same interests that they have, but
Mhm.
they still have things that they like and they want to do. You have to find that out. You have to
Right.
talk to them. You have to engage them. It may change their interests, but you have to engage them. And that's what I mean by treating them with humanity. They're still
Mhm.
here. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. So, hey, everybody that's just hopping on. I think Stacy said Brooklyn in the house. Hey, Raven. Raven said you're giving out good information. Thank you for
oh, thank
listening,
you.
Raven. Yeah. So, I had a question for you.
Sure.
What? Before I say that though, y'all make sure y'all share, share, share. We need this to reach as many people as possible. So go ahead. If you hopped on here, just click that share button, and share it on your profile so somebody else can see it. But these facilities that you're talking about, are they costly? Are there different options for people who may
Yeah.
need something different?
Hmm. Yeah. There are different, there are definitely some that are costly. Their range, they can range
Mm,
from um, $3,500 to $7,000. I mean, they can range. Some people have saved for that. Some people have long-term insurance, which can help subsidize, or you can, get money from that. Or either some people have their retirement, their 403Bs or their 401Ks and things like that, and they may
mm-hmm,
save for that. But um, you don't just, even if you find a facility, you have to see if it is compatible to what you need and what
mm-hmm.
you want. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not always luxury. It's not always the places where has all the amenities and stuff like that. You may not be able to afford that because you may live for 15 years. Your
Mm-hmm,
money may be good now, but it may run out if it's very, very expensive. One of the things, I had another guest that was on, and that was wow, 2022. It was 2 years ago. Deborah Bingham Gwen, and she's a nurse, and she was a nurse, and she did assisted living, and she was a supervisor and a coordinator and all that. And she had so much information. And one of the things that she would say is that, you really have to look for one that fits your loved one and fits you, because um, there's so many different things that people offer, and that people
mm-hmm.
don't think to look for the safety, look for if people respond to you quickly, respond to your loved one quickly if something happens,
Mm,
if they check that, those the things that alert you, if they actually check that in the facility, that like once a month, make sure those things are working, so if something does happen, and they push the bell, that someone can respond to them, how the situation is there, how the food is there. That's important. You know,
mm-hmm.
it's so many times I've seen people where the food was not good in these places and they stop eating, or they opt to
Mm.
eat something bad. They opt to eat something bad because it's like, bring me something, but that's
Yeah.
not that's not what they should have. That's not on their diet. That's not, what I
Wow.
mean. But they don't want the bland food. And
Hmm.
that's another thing about treating people with humanity.
Yeah.
You don't eat that. Why would I
Why
want?
are you? Yeah, that's
You understand what I'm
crazy.
saying?
That's
So
crazy. I think, and another thing too, and Lizette has a comment. We're gonna get to her. Another thing too. I think even people with disabilities tend to kind of face some of the same things. It's like I
mhm.
might be mentally impaired or I might have this physical impairment or whatever, but that doesn't mean that I don't like, nice things or I don't
Right,
want something of quality or I don't,
right,
or just, treat me with humanity. So yeah,
right.
I love that talking about that. So Lizette said, unfortunately, the quality facilities like the one Tommaso is involved with are usually private pay. So
Mhm.
we need to start saving for that possibility when we are younger, like we prepare for college for our children. We may need our family members to contribute to a fund for times such as these. That's very
Yeah.
important.
And
Yeah.
he brought that point out. He really did. He said that.
Hmm.
He said that, we need to um like maybe get together and say, like, make a plan, like, this is a situation. what are we going to do? Maybe your family members get together or something like that. Because like he said, he may not be able to afford the one that he works at, himself. you know, you know, they're all not like that. But I'm just saying that he's
Yeah.
like, but and because he didn't plan, he didn't plan, and he may not be able to afford that. But he's like, it's unfortunate that they are so high, and of course things always go up, but we have to plan ahead of time. Family have to get together. We have to not leave people out there in the cold, or leave, we have to start thinking about that. And that's a great idea, about like we do for college for kids. That's a great idea.
Preparing for that. I have a question that's not quite on this topic, but it is. And I want to know if possibly you might know it, because I know you talk to some people who deal with like will and testament and all that stuff. So if there's a situation where, say, this person has been working hard all their life and they have a good savings and they have a good plan for themselves. Maybe their family was in the military, so they left them something, or whatever the case may be. But they end up being placed in the care of someone who doesn't allocate those funds to their care. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything that an elder person can do in that case? And you may not have the answer, so maybe we could just put the question out there.
I'm trying to figure out, what are you saying?
So basically, how we're talking about preparing, saving up for how we want to spend the rest of our days, starting early, having our family members help us. Well, what if there is a person who has done all of that, but how you have
you mean that if they have money, but they didn't put things into place, like a healthcare proxy or stuff like that, or a living will or stuff like that, so they don't have, they didn't assign someone to their to take care of them,
or the person they assigned is misusing the funds. Is there anything they can do?
Well, if the person that you assign is misusing a fund, that's unfortunate.
Nothing you can do.
If you've assigned them to that, then they get to make the decisions on you. That's a little, that's a little different. But to your point, you should select somebody now while you're in your right mind,
right,
to take care of your finances, take care of your health, make the decisions on your health. You don't want the courts to do it for you. You don't want the courts to do it for you. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to select those things now and talk about those things now, because you don't know when you're going to get sick, and you may not be able to talk. You may not be in your right mind. You may be, you have to put these things into place now. Power of attorney, things like that. That's why they need to be in place now. So you don't want the courts to have to do it, because the courts will do it because they have to. They have
somebody got to. If listen, if you don't do it, somebody got to do it.
Somebody's going to do it, and the courts to do it. You don't want it in the courts. You see, like Wendy Williams, her family's not in charge of her stuff. It's the courts. They have to do something.
I hear you. So Lizette said each state has an, I'm gonna try my best to read this word here. Has an ombudsman department.
Yeah.
Okay, did I say that right?
Yeah.
That may be helpful for situations like that. So that's good information to know. I'm gonna look into that because my goodness. All right. Hey Keisha. Hey Keisha. Hey Tamala, thanks for hopping on. She said, yes, talk about them now. Listen. Yes. Thank y'all for hopping on. So listen, we are not done with this topic, but I have a surprise for Francine, our wonderful host. Listen, we're gonna pause for the cause. Francine, you have a show coming up, don't you?
Oh yeah. Like, what is she talking about? Like, hello.
Here we go. It's about to pop up on the screen.
Oh my goodness, she's so funny. Oh, okay. Well, please come out. Please come out and come out to our comedy for caregivers. It's not only for caregivers to come, but just to come out to show some love to caregivers, show some laughs. I know that you've worked all year round, and caregivers are always giving. We just want to give to them and give them some time and some laughs, and there'll be some gifts and some things like that, and just a little bit extra. And we want to be together and let people know that they're not alone. A lot of times you may not know that your neighbor next door is in the same situation that you're in, or have that experience, and people don't give them credit, give them that kind of credit that they deserve, because the caregivers are always giving. always giving, and you want them to receive sometimes. You want them to receive sometimes. So please come out on the 28th. It's in Brooklyn at Christ Fellowship Baptist Church. Tickets are $25, and you can get tickets from Eventbrite. Always get that wrong. Or you can go to my website, autumnishere.com, and you can order and get the tickets from there. Or you can get it from me if you want physical tickets. Just call me and let me know. We'll make that happen. But tell your neighbors, tell your associations, tell your groups, your senior groups, your school groups, whatever it is. Tell them let's come out, let's flood this place and show some love to caregivers and just support, because people just don't realize at any time that you can become a caregiver.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on the screen one more time. Take a little screenshot if you can, if you need to. Okay. Uh, as y'all can see, I'm the comedy relief today, but we got some real comics at the Comedy for Caregivers show. Chris Clark, GL Douglas, Chanel Renee, Mark Gregory, and music by Reverend Robert Wilson. So if you're in the Brooklyn area, go ahead and join us. I love it.
Let me say one more thing. Those of you from Christ Fellowship, you can get tickets from Charlie Boy. Okay, y'all know who Charlie Boy is. Y'all can get tickets from Charlie Boy.
All right. Okay. All right.
Tell a friend.
Hit up Charlie Boy. Okay.
And it's a great Christmas gift. It's a great Christmas gift. Put it in somebody's stocking.
It's great to end the year with some fun, especially for caregivers. Caregivers have so much weight on their shoulders. And yeah, they need to have a good time. So I love that. I love it. Yes, Stacy said, looking forward to the show. Looking forward to seeing you, Stacy. Awesome. Okay, so I always like for us to kind of close it out with your thoughts about it. But is there anything before you want to give your closing thoughts that we missed on this subject?
Well, there are some people that you might already be in this situation. And I know it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. So seek out some support in trying to find a place. A lot of times, this takes time. It takes time to find, find a good place for your loved one. Independent living is great if your loved one can live by themselves, just in a facility. You want them to feel safe. Also with if you're assisted living, you want some place that's safe, but there's more to that to it than safe. You want a place that has social activities for your loved one. You don't want them to just be sitting there. You don't. You want to make sure that people are going to be caring about their well-being also. They keep the grounds clean. They engage them. So one of the things that not only Tommaso said, but also Deborah Bingham Gwen, she said on there, you want to see that they engage your people. You want to see not only how they treat them, but that they're talking to them. They're acting like they're human. You know what I mean?
Because they are.
Because they are. That's what you want to see. You want to see the engagement. You want to see the love, and visit. So even if you go and it's a wonderful place, please do not stop visiting. Tell your family members to visit. If you can't, tell your children, your grandchildren, always visit. People tend to treat you better if you have visitors. They know somebody else is going to come up and look out.
Some visibility.
Okay. And tell them not to be afraid to say something if they see something that is not correct, or ask a question. Okay?
Love that. All right, y'all. This is another time for y'all to chime in. If you have any questions, you want to let us know where you're watching from, you just want to say hi, go ahead and let us know in the comment section. I am going to turn it over to Francine for her final thoughts. It could be about this episode or anything you want to share with the audience, Francine. And I'm going to give you the floor.
Well, I just wanted to let people know that Autumn is Here is a resource. So you can always go back. Yes, absolutely visit. Really, really, absolutely visit. It's a resource. It's a resource for people to go back on, and you can look at it at any time. So if you don't get the episode at the time that it shows, you can go back and look on it, share with somebody. I want people to be more aware of their surroundings, be aware of your neighbors, be aware of somebody else that may need the help. Maybe it's a senior that lives by herself. In New York, there's a lot of seniors that live by themselves. And sometimes they need some assistance and they need some help. So please just be aware of that. And keep tuning into Autumn is Here on Sundays at 3:00. This week we have a show with a caregiver. So we want to talk about that. And my 2 cents is really to get some conversation going about the subject, because I usually interview people but I don't really give my opinion, or I don't really stretch out some of the topics that they talk about. Maybe we go over them and introduce them to you, but we don't talk about them. So, and any questions that you might have. So, and let me know of any subjects that you might want to talk about. Okay.
Love it, love it, love it. We got a couple of comments. Lizette says, I hope you guys think about doing this on a Zoom so we can chat live in real time. That
That's
sounds
an
like
idea.
a Zoom session, a master class. I don't know what we're going to call that, but definitely,
That's an idea. That's an idea.
definitely.
That
I
would be good because
love
we could
that.
have your input, in it. Yeah, that would be great. That'd be great. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Lizette.
Yes. Vanessa said, how do you know that the place you choose is the right place? Because they always act like their location is the best. Mm.
Well, yeah, it's just like any other product. It's a product, and it's just like any other place. But what you have to do is you have to go more than once. Okay, you have to go more than once. You have to go there like for meals. Say when you go there for meals, always go either lunch or dinner because that's when the chef is supposed to be at his best. Okay, um, go there and ask people. Talmaso and Deborah also said the same thing. Go there and ask people who live there. What do you think about the place? Because we might see it and see it looks good, but the people who living there, no.
Come
Some people,
on.
yeah, some people they living there and maybe they have no choice but to live there, but they may tell you like, well, really, after hours it's not that good or whatever. I don't know, but they tell you
Hmm.
the truth about it. That people don't engage them, that people don't take care of them. People don't respond when they need something, or they may even tell you it's not a safe place. I actually was at a
Hmm.
nursing home and there was a big old fight there. They had to lock down the place. So,
Ooh.
yes, you never know. Be careful about the new places because the new places don't have history.
Hmm.
The new places don't have history. So it looks nice, but who do you ask? How is it? How are they taking care of you? Look at the staff. Are they understaffed? That's
Hmm.
important because they may not can get to your person because they don't have enough people to get to them. Does it
Hmm.
smell? Are they cleaning it? Does it smell like urine all the time? And there's plenty of
Mm.
places that smell like urine all the time. You
Ooh.
know, are the elevators broken down? Are they working or are they broken down? It takes a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy to find a good place, but it takes a lot to research this, and that's why we say do it now. Do it.
Hmm.
You're getting older. Your people are getting older. Your parents are getting older. Your uncle, your aunt. Do it now. Just check them out. They'll let you. They'll let you come there and watch them and stay there. They will because they want people to, to be there. So
Love it.
they will do that and speak to administrators and stuff like that. See how
Hmm.
they interact with each other. See what they say. Are they
Hmm.
friendly? Can you go to the administrator? Is he accessible to you? Is the person that's in charge of everybody? Are they accessible to you?
Love that. Love that. Sharon said, and visit unannounced. Okay, listen.
Is it unannounced?
Pop
Yes.
up. Pop up on
Yes.
them.
Yes. Yes.
Vanessa said, how easy is it to transfer your loved one if you don't like it? That's a good question.
Yeah,
How
that is
easy is how
that
easy it is it to transfer?
That is a good question. I don't know how easy it is. I don't think is. I think the thing is that you would have to find another place. You know what I mean? You would have to kind of find a place first. They're not going to just They're not going to transfer you. You have to find that place and find out. After you found the place, you tell them that you want to be transferred and stuff like that. I think that depending on the situation, you would need like a doctor sign off if they're in a place where they're getting a lot of care, medical care, stuff like that. But you should be able to. You would have to look again. You would have to look again and find another place. We had someone on the show, Jack. He was the elder care advocate, and
Mm-hmm.
that is what he does. Okay. He knows
Mm-hmm.
all the best places and he knows all the worst places. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what he does. And sometimes we cut ourselves short because we don't pay for services. We don't want to pay for services. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you have to.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes it's worth it to
Yeah.
pay for services. Now he has an independent service. This is his job. This is what he does. But he will consult with anybody. Anybody on here, he will consult with anybody. So,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it's worth it because this way you'll know where you're going. He's the one who fights for you. He's the one who says, oh, no, 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 this, you can't do this for my client. You got to treat my client better. Or he's the one to say, no, not this facility. He'll be like, Vanessa, not this facility. I know
Mm-hmm.
this facility. I know their history. I know what they do, whatever. He knows all that. So sometimes it's worth it to invest and spend some money just for the love of your care camp. And then you're comfortable. If they're in a good facility, that takes off some pressure off of you.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
breathe easy. You
Yeah.
can breathe easy. So
And
two
yeah.
things came to mind as you were speaking. This gonna be my 2 cents about it, okay? Think about when you're moving into a new neighborhood or if you're moving into an apartment complex or whatever the case may be. A lot of times you take your time before you choose that place. And sometimes you'll talk to neighbors and you'll, do your due diligence. So I think it's the same thing when you're looking for a place for your loved one. And I would even go a little further. I don't know if this is too much, but could I find my own place ahead of time and then just tell my people, like, this is where I want to go?
Of course you can.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll be the same place when you go 20 years later. But but yeah, you listen, there's nothing wrong. Seniors can get involved. Seniors should
Yeah.
get involved. Seniors
Yeah.
should get involved and say, hey, this is the type of place I want, or this is the place I want, or this is the type of place I want. Let them know, you know what? I'm tired of the city. I want to go somewhere where it's quiet, it's grass, they got an outside garden and stuff like that. Because some places in the city may not have that. We in New York City, in the city. So you might have a little patch of green, but they might want to go like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to drive anywhere. I want somewhere that's peaceful, that's country, like whatever.
Mhm.
Ask your seniors, talk to your seniors, ask them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
love
see.
that.
Hello, Stacy. I see you.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Stacy
Yeah.
said hi. Hello. And Vanessa said, okay, sounds great. Thank you. Lizette said, yes, Evelyn. I'm starting to look now. Okay. Listen, I'm starting to
Listen.
look
Yeah.
right now.
Tell people where you want to live. Tell
Yeah.
tell them where you want to live. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for watching. This has been a great show today, Francine. I love it.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
y'all
out,
for
everyone.
watching. I love it. I love it. Francine, don't you have something you usually like to tell people? Don't say I didn't what?
Don't say I didn't tell you. Don't say I didn't tell you. And I say that because no one told me. And people
Mhm,
always say, oh, no, you should never have any regrets. No, I regret that I didn't have the information because I could have
mhm.
helped my mother more. You know what I'm saying? So don't say I didn't tell you. Don't say you didn't hear it. You heard it here. Look for a place for your loved one ahead of time. It takes more stress off of you if you find a place that's comfortable and caring, and that's going to take care of them, and
Right.
that it's not out of your pocket. Okay, that's one thing that sometimes we do. We look for the place that costs a lot of money because it's just beautiful and whatever, but that money runs out in 3 years. Where they gonna go then? You know what I'm saying? Where they gonna
Gotcha.
go then? So you have to
Yeah.
think about the money, how it's gonna stretch, what it's gonna take to have them there for 10 years. Maybe it may not, but
Hmm.
maybe you got to
Yeah.
think about that
We
financial
got to
stuff.
think about
Yeah.
it. We got to think about it.
Okay.
Keisha Key said you did an amazing job with Auntie Lois. I love that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. All right,
Oh.
y'all. Well, I think we are done for tonight. Thank y'all for hopping on. Francine, you want to say anything before we head out?
I just want to remind you about the comedy show in 28. Please come. Please come. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a good time. So please come if you can. We really would appreciate that. And um, tell everybody in your building, your neighborhoods. I don't care. It's a wonderful place to do comedy at. It's comfortable. So come out there, and we have a lot of good people. And some of you already know some of the people that are on there. And I know a lot of you know Reverend Wilson. So please come out and support. We're all going to be there, and we're going to have a good time. Thank you. And watch
Love
Autumn is Here at 3 o'clock on Sunday for my new show.
Yes, this Sunday's gonna be a good show, y'all. You don't want to miss it. All right, thank you all for hopping on, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you
Bye.
again, everyone. Good night.
Good night.